Yo, bro, let's keep it a buck. Everything in this world, in this dunya, is OD hypersexualized. Especially when you hop on the net. You just see half naked women, all this other stuff, and then it leads you to the one cardinal sin that you just can't seem to drop. It's that filthy corn content. I know it's hard, and it affects dang near what? 8 out of every 10 men. I don't know the studies, I might put it on the screen for y'all. But the point stands that I know it's something that's very hard and something that affects all of us. Or most young brothers, especially Gen Z, my generation, yo, because let's keep it a buck. I have a computer right next to me. Stuck for a lot. There's nearly nothing stopping me from hopping on the net and going to a black and yellow website. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, like you have scavenger. But in today's video, I'm really going to break down to you how this filthy content really affects your productivity and also how this affects your performance overall as a Muslim man and show you how to really get over it. So buckle up, sit down, subscribe to the channel, like the video. This is going to help you. And without further ado, let's get into it. I ain't gonna lie, this filthy stuff really be messing up your productivity in day-to-day life. Because really break it down like this. When you're watching all this filthy content, bro, let's really be honest. Are you sitting there and doing it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? No. You're more than likely doing this on for hours. You gotta look for the right video, try to see the right angle. Let's keep it a buck. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but you kind of picking up what I'm putting down. You know what I'm saying? You must have scavenger, right? So doing all of that, you probably started at 2 o'clock. You look outside, it's dang near dark outside. A good portion of your day is gone. And then guess what? More than likely, you feel like crap. You're like, oh, so you look in the mirror. You don't even want to look at yourself. You don't like the person that's staring back at you at that current moment. You're just like, dang. And then fast forward in just regular actions of life. Think about it. You just rewired the chemistry in your brain, giving it a bunch of dopamine. Because when it comes to these filthy actions, you're getting a new novelty like this every single time you see something new. Because it's not natural to be able to see so many variety of women in one sitting. Like, you would be able to have more variety than Genghis Khan was able to see in his life. And he had a lot of concubines and all this other stuff. Prophet Suleiman, or King Solomon, can't speak right now. But you'd be able to have more sexual access to those men who've had a lot of women. So really think about it. You are frying your dopamine. And on top of that, you're doing it in a way that is not even natural to your body. You're not meant to just do all that scroll and have this instant amount of novelty. So AKA what? It hijacks your brain. And in hijacking your brain, you rewire how your reward system works. And if you're going to rewire how your reward system works, it's going to affect your productivity. Because now, every single time that you try to sit there and actually lock in or try to be on your purpose or do something, there's going to be the clawing thought of watching that filthy content. And then with that, it ends up messing your discipline up. And messing your discipline up is really going to mess up your productivity. Because what? If you're going to be disciplined, it's going to be with your productivity. Because you know both of those go hand in hand. You can't have really one without the other. If you're going to be disciplined, then your productivity is going to be there. So it's kind of like you're frying your discipline, because every time your reward system is hijacked. But really think about it. If my reward system is just doing this and being lazy, my brain's going to yearn for it. And more than likely, you're going to be stuck in this perpetual cycle of giving in to that reward system that you've set for your brain. And then when it comes down to how it affects your performance as a Muslim man, bro, it really digs deeper, because like I mentioned earlier, with the productivity, it just cycles on and just goes down a rabbit hole. So it's really like, if you're not being disciplined, that discipline is going to drag into all your other affairs, right? Think about it. If you're not disciplined, how are you going to be able to run your house? If you just act on a whim of all your desires, how are you really going to be able to lead everybody? Or how are you going to be a better Muslim? Like, it's really just going to start spiraling down. Everything is going to start being worse. And then on top of that, look at your performance when it comes to, like, just obviously what? Your perception of how you view women. If you're just cooped up in your room most of the time doing this filthy act, you're going to look at women a certain way. You're not going to be able to really have these certain types of connections and these bonds with other people. And you might even start being strange with your women folk. Like, you might be more tolerant of her dressing a little looser, doing all these other things like that you really shouldn't be allowing her to do as a man. Like, if you really think about it, it's really wiring the chemistry of your brain to be so different, and you're gonna end up cucking yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're basically cutting your balls off. You're neutering yourself, and we don't want that. It's overall affecting your performance as a Muslim man, because if you really think about it, bro, how can you really look at a woman the proper way if you're constantly consuming this content and then you have this unrealistic expectation of how it's supposed to be and an unrealistic expectation of a healthy relationship? So then if you can't have a healthy relationship, how are you supposed to have a healthy family, right? How are you supposed to be able to build a family with a woman? How are you supposed to be able to even protect a woman? Because a lot of times when you're cucking yourself like this, you'll let another man be with your girl because you're so used to the perspective of watching something instead of doing it. You're so used to watching instead of taking action. So it's like it's really harming you as a Muslim man because you're not even doing what you're supposed to do. You're not doing, you're more observing. And that observing is just leading you down these other paths of just, oh, I'll let my woman do this. Then, I would be like being a dayut. Overall, just doing a bunch of madman things like, bro, why are you letting your woman do this? Or why are you kind of being a lot more socially awkward? You kind of look at women a little weird because all you have done is consume this content, and half of the time your perception of women is just, dang, I would be like, let me just relieve myself. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I want you to know before we even get to stopping this content or how to consume it, it's kind of how your brain perceives it, right? So if you didn't know, they have studies where it kind of shows two people's brains, right? The regular brain and then like the person who consumes this filthy type of content. If you look at the brains, you can just see the development in the brain. And basically, to make a long story short, the addiction that you get from watching this filthy content is dang near like you doing crack. And I know most of the people, I'm assuming all the people watching this video, you don't want to be a junkie. So don't be a corn junkie. But now that we have a little understanding of how it, like what it does to the brain psychologically, let's get into how to stop this. Because let's be real, nobody wants to be really doing this type of stuff. It's just fake dopamine. It's the fake thing. And we all want the real thing, right? So let's start off by understanding how to break off this cycle. One of the first things is really just understanding the triggers, right? What triggers you to start watching this stuff? Because a lot of the times it's not just off the whim, just, I just want to watch porn, stuff for a lot. But like nobody, for the most part, you just don't say, nah, I just want to watch it. There's a reason behind a lot of the times, whether you're chilling and you're just bored and you're like, nah, let me spank my stuff, stuck for a lot. But yeah, that's how you're moving. Like, or dang, bro, I just seen this little joint on Twitter or something like that, or X, and I'm like, dang, now I gotta go do something. Like, figure out or understand what actually causes you to want to actually like just spiral down. Is it you being alone? Is it you being bored? Or is it you seeing something? One of my biggest advices would actually, to be honestly, for the most part, really not be on a lot of these social medias for the most part. Mainly because you don't really gain much from them. There's a very few costs to like pros to cons and actually being on a lot of these apps. So that's one of them. Two, another thing, like say if you were to keep these social medias, which most people want to keep social media. So let's just understand how to go about it. So for the most part, you want to get rid of whatever you use that device on or watch that stuff on. Get rid of it at whatever time of the day you are, or make it harder for you to even do it. Like say, for example, right, you like to use it on your iPad, right? But then if you put your iPad in a place that is dang near really hard for you to access it, it dang near deter you from wanting to do it. And adding on to that, another thing would be making things harder to elaborate, because it's dang near really like the last one I just mentioned, to really start having like things to block those type of things off. So like if you hop on Safari and then you type in one of these adult websites, it just tells you a blank thing and you can't even access it. So start putting in parameters to then actually help you with this. Another thing that I would mention would be to honestly learn even more about Islam. Because understanding that Allah is As-Sami' al-Basir. He's the one that hears and the one that sees. Allah sees that you're watching porn. Allah sees that you're you're listening to and all of that stuff. That's one of the things that would actually help learning about the deen of Allah. Another thing would actually be to fast. Fasting in authentic narrations, I'm going to paraphrase it. I'll put the real one on the screen, but it basically lowers your desire. Fasting lowers the desire. You can do it Monday, Wednesday, my fault. The Monday, Thursday fast, or you can do what Prophet Dawood alayhi salam did. You can just do the one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. Also, the other solution would be to get married, right? Another solution to get married, because you can be what's it called for that her, and then she's what's his name for you. I'm forgetting what his name is, but you know what I'm saying? You could actually pull up the hadith for that. But for the most part, getting married would really help. Now, if you are already married, then like I said, those other steps previously will help you a lot more. The last thing I would suggest would be to have someone to hold you accountable. The reason you want someone to hold you accountable is because if they're holding you accountable, you will feel the social pressure to not even want to do it, because then they'll be on your taco like, dang, bro, why'd you start doing this again? So it's like that's kind of the thing that you will kind of more or less need to then actually kind of steer you in that right direction so you can stop. So I hope some of these tips help, and like this is a different perspective that you have gotten. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum.